Andy Roy from Improvise. He's going to speak on why your brand needs a digital agent. So Andy, take it away. It's your turn.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andy Roy, and I believe your brand needs a digital agent. A digital agent is an AI that represents your brand. We already know that your business is going to have to make a lot of changes with AI. So if you will, I'd like to take an opportunity to explain what kinds of changes are really needed. If we look what's happened, it's taken a long time for the AI revolution. It didn't happen with Siri in 2011. It didn't happen with Alexa in 2014. It happened with ChatGPT last year, and that's why we're all here. In 2016, Satya Nadella said that computing would be experienced completely differently when AI takes over, and his prediction is coming true now. But we have to ask ourselves, why? Why does ChatGPT make such a splash? Why is it so impactful to all of us? And to answer that question will help us understand what's coming next. If we look at our digital lives and look below the surface, what we're going to find is that we're all very anxious with too much information that we can't take in, too many choices that have to be made, too much to learn, another device, another app, etc., and too many distractions. We've got social media and every other kind of media bombarding us. It's this anxiety that I believe ChatGPT addressed very effectively. And what we got from it is an antidote to this digital life. Instead of too much information, it gave us just the right answers. Instead of having many choices to make in a Google search result, it gave us one choice, the answer. Instead of having to learn something new, there was nothing to learn. We know how to talk. And so, and then finally, in terms of distractions, it allowed us to focus our attention much more clearly. And that's why, at a gut level, ChatGPT and generative AI has captured the imagination, and millions of people immediately came in droves. But that's really only just the beginning. Generative AI just begins our march towards conversational AI. What is that? Conversational AI is simply the ability to interact with our devices and with computing just the way you and I are interacting now, in the most natural way there is. And that's leading us to redefining a set of expectations. We had a set of expectations prior to GPT that's now completely transformed. And because of that, we are interacting with brands differently. What that means essentially is that we have a whole new digital media channel, a new place where brands can connect with their customers. What's that mean to all of us? For all of us who are in companies, it means that the conversational AI will become the de facto channel through which we will interact with our customers and suppliers and employees. So your website, which up to now is still a glorified pamphlet, will need to be conversational. Your call center can't leave me on hold for 20 minutes. It needs to be immediate and interactive. And so it is with your sales team, your social media team. All of this will turn into a conversational channel. It's the only way to go. What I want to point out is what it's not. Conversational AI is not the chatbots we've all kind of grown frustrated with. Look at them. They're very limited. They're usually unhelpful. And frankly, they're annoying at times. So we need to completely reimagine and redesign the way this technology is being deployed. And in order to do that, I've got some ideas here. Oops. So the conversational AI is in the form of digital agents. I call them digital agents because we're familiar with how we like to interact with those who are helping us. A digital agent, kind of like imagine you're a real estate agent or a lawyer or your financial advisor. What do? They listen carefully to what you have to say, they think about it, and then they get things done for you. And that's the difference here. Digital agents, unlike chats, have a conversation aimed at getting things done. This year, we've spent this last year prompt engineering. We've been learning something new. And sometimes it works, sometimes it's a little bit frustrating, but it is a lot of work on our side. While that's been great for 2023, as we look forward to next year, this is going to be a thing of the past. Where we're headed is the point where we can simply say, here's what I need done. Do you have any questions? please let me know when you've accomplished it. That's the kind of interaction that we're moving towards with digital agents. Let's take an example. Imagine a digital agent for sales. I'll ask a question that Gerald loves to ask. What would be ideal? What's ideal is, first of all, help me prepare for the meeting, take my inputs on what I'd like to accomplish. Let's think about it together. Then during the meeting with our prospect, we're going to talk, and you're going to provide helpful advice, inputs, and information about our products and company. And then after the meeting, that's especially helpful if you, the digital agent, can do the follow-up, write up the notes, the follow-up actions, send the NDA, whatever. So all of this work can be done by a digital agent and needs to be done. Again, to contrast, today we have chats that provide Q&A. For example, again, with sales, suppose you have this situation. I met a prospect today who said she liked our products and features, but said it was too expensive. So it's a typical price objection scenario. I typed this into Claude, one of the chats that Teresa mentioned, that Claude from Anthropic came out with really excellent answers. These were good answers, offer a scale down package, look at a trial period, give them financing options, different ways to get over that objection. And those were great answers, but it's not taking action. What we really want is an agent that does this for you. So after you give it the same problem set or the same situation, what you want it to do is to come back and say, I sent an email recommending a trial period at a discounted rate per your approval. In other words, digital agents need to automate the work away for us. Now, as also, I think Marv quoted the same number just a moment ago, McKinsey has said 60 to 70% of our work could be done by agents. Others like Boston Consulting, I think, has quoted lower numbers, maybe 35 to 50. Still, it's a huge amount of work that can be saved. So if that's going to happen, what needs to be true of these digital agents? How do they need to be designed? They need to be specialized, because you're not going to solve big problems or the problems we face day to day with general purpose solutions. They're going to have to be specialized. And because they're specialized, we can quickly recognize that there are going to be a lot of them. In fact, if you've been at that site, there's an AI for that. You've probably seen there's like this flourishing ecosystem, developers, consultants, everyone building all these unique, special purpose, specific AIs. And each of these solves a specific problem. And that's the direction it's going. There'll be a lot of them. Well, if there are going to be that many of them, how do we build them? How do we make them effective digital agents? So that's what I'd really like to focus on here. I'm going to give you this secret recipe, which isn't so secret, but it involves 6 key ingredients to make digital agents effective. Each one of these could be an hour-long talk. We don't have that time. So I'm just going to go through it briefly. Number 1, prompt chaining. Prompt chaining is the idea is that you ask a question, get an intermediate result, pass it to the next stage and next stage. And so there's a pipeline of prompts that allows a digital agent to basically handle complexity, handle bigger problems than simply one question could handle. Number 2, bring user context and history into your digital agent. That means knowing the reason behind the question. If I ask a chat for a question, it needs to understand where I'm coming from, that here's what happened in the past, here's what I've tried before, here's how I can truly personalize the response. And this is more than what we've done in the past with, say, email marketing, where we just personalization was sticking my name into a form letter. No. So this is true personalization. Number 3, your proprietary knowledge needs to be brought into the digital agent. And when you do that, when you connect it to your databases, when you connect it to all your document repositories, at that point, it doesn't hallucinate. You can turn down the randomness factor, the temperature, and you can feed it the knowledge that it needs to use. And now the results you'll get back are very high quality, accurate answers. Number 4 is my favorite. Digital agents need to incorporate your values, beliefs, and approach. When we're trusting digital agents to be our brand's voice, then we have to explain what that voice is. What do we stand for? How do we operate? What do we believe is the right trade-offs to make? I'll talk more about this in a second. Number 5, reasoning and checklists. It turns out these language models are highly effective at taking all kinds of inputs. You give it a checklist, try this, and this, reason about it in these ways, and it will do that. It will go through and solve a problem. If you haven't tried it, you might be skeptical. Once you play around with it, you see that, wow, this is This is crazy good. Number 6, code generation and APIs. So if you're using ChatGPT Plus, you know what these are, code interpreter and plugins. But the idea for any language model is that it's not so good at doing math or other calculations. So it is good at writing code. So let it write code and do the calculations that way. And then let it plug in to all these different APIs. There's a world of APIs through the cloud computing that's become established so that it can get accurate information and so that it can automate processes downstream. When you look at this package of things, all these elements, these ingredients for a digital agent, this is where the design problem lies. This is where we have to become really good designers to bring all these ingredients into the recipe and create digital agents that are focused on the job at hand and do a great job of it. Let me drill into number 4, because that one's especially important. Representing a brand's voice. It turns out that if you place your values, your beliefs, your approaches into the inputs to a digital agent, then it can align with your team and satisfy your customers in a way that you know that you can deliver. It turns out language models are really good at taking on a perspective. We've all done this where we've said, put this in the voice of Gary V, or talk to me like I'm an 8-year-old. We always ask it to take on a persona. It's taking that to the next level and doing it for a business purpose. When you do that, you will find that digital agents can be extremely good proponents of your brand, representing it in the way that's effective for you, true to your voice. Let's use an example. It's a little bit of a mundane example, but let me go through it. A prospect can be, again, objecting to price. There are 2 different sellers, David and Jennifer. David's approach in selling is to challenge the client with a question. So he's got one approach. Jennifer's approach is different. She prefers to educate her clients and bring them up to speed. So when David's digital agent tries to solve this problem, David's agent says, have you compared our pricing with similar products in the market? Waits for the answer and then shows a chart. Now, on the other hand, Jennifer's digital agent takes a different approach. This agent shows a project plan showing how we implement our projects and then compares it to the competition that has more risk and takes longer. And therefore, they're educated into thinking, well, I understand why yours costs a little bit more, it's better. So the point here is when you bring your brand's values and methodologies and approaches into the design of your agents, then it'll take the same problem, but it'll take a different approach for your brand or for your department or for yourself. And so the results will be different. And this ability of language models to translate from conceptual ideas into day-to-day actions, that's really very tremendous. I think I went a little quickly, hopefully. I can't tell if I'm on time. So let's sum up where we are. Generative AI has redefined what we can expect from our interaction with devices. Conversational AI is allowing us to create a whole new channel for brands to meet their customers and their prospects. And that then creates the challenge of building digital agents that are effective for your brand and for the way you want to interact. There are 2 big challenges there. One is to engage proactively. You're not just there to sell something. You're not just there to communicate more content, but rather to add value, to engage proactively and actively for your consumers and customers. The second key thing here is that you need to represent your brand's voice. You need to be able to explain what's unique and what trade-off decisions you make, and that allows your brand to really come shining through. I believe that if we do this effectively, if we design effectively these digital agents, this will profoundly change our lives. It will make business better and allow all of us to thrive. So thank you for your attention. I hope that was a little bit helpful to give you a point of view on how we can really use this technology going forward. My partners and I at Improvise would love to engage with you about the strategy, the design techniques, and the technology required to make all this come to life. So let's go out there and build the change you want to see. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. That was an outstanding presentation.